Behind him, two baby rabbits are fighting for a tomato as their father tries to calm them. The tomato vanishes, and the tower manager says that it will compromise this time. Sejun thanks him, and the message window vanishes. He laughs to himself, realizing that the manager was about to say sorry just now. But then he says out loud that the tower manager was simpler than he thought. It is now the 91st day, and the 4th blue moon event happens. Sejun is sitting in a dark corner, eating the cherry tomatoes. He had heard that people with high MP could endure the roars of monsters to a certain level, and that is why he was eating the tomatoes, but he still hopes that nothing like the last time happens again. As Sejun wishes for time to pass quickly, his plants begin to gleam in the blue light. Sejun realizes what is going on as the energy of the light enters a tomato, and it turns blue. Sejun cannot wait to harvest it, but then he notices that the tomato plants are not the only ones getting blessed. Even the sweet potato leaves were getting illuminated. The desire to check on them overcomes Sejun, and he walks towards his farm. He digs out the sweet potatoes with his bare hands and is amazed at the result. He had a blue sweet potato in his hand. It was filled with the energy of the blue moon, and when consumed, it would increase one's strength by 0.5 points permanently. The system windows tell him that he harvested a sweet potato with the energy of the blue moon, due to which he gained a lot of experience. The proficiency of the skill harvest has also increased, and now it will be leveled up. Sejun then looks at the blue tomato and harvests it too. As he holds the sweet potato in one hand and the tomato in the other, Sejun thinks that he is holding the world in his hands. But that happiness is soon disturbed by a quest Sejun was expecting. And there were not one but two quests. Sejun had to offer both the products imbued with the energy of the blue moon to the manager. There was no reward for either of the quests, and the penalty was death. Sejun thinks that the manager was really pushing it with two quests at a time. If Sejun refused, it might just kill him this time. But Sejun has a way to solve this issue. He offers 500 tomatoes to the manager, saying that he needs to complete the previous quest first. The manager quickly accepts the tomatoes and says that he is happy with the cherry tomatoes. But then it asks Sejun why he has not given the energy-filled crops to it already. Sejun apologizes for calling the manager simple earlier. He asks them to let this slide for today and promises to give them it later. The manager sighs and accepts this condition. Sejun then looks at the items in his hands and wonders what he should do with them. And that is not even a question. He tosses the blue tomato in his mouth and shudders. He could feel the summer festival and the fireworks in his mouth again, almost as if it were the first time he ate the tomatoes. The system window tells him that his MP has permanently increased by 0.5 due to eating the tomato. But then Sejun cannot hold on to his hunger and desire any longer. He wraps the sweet potato in onion leaves and throws it into the fire. He thinks it would be even better if he had tin foil with him. But the multi-purpose onion leaves were also good enough. Sejun is happy and says that the time spent waiting for delicious food is the happiest time. The blue moon passes, and the rabbits also come out. And they all have questions for Sejun as they see him cooking something. He says that they had great timing. He was just about to call them. Sejun then excitedly says that he presents to them the sweet potato with the energy of the blue moon. And its delicious smell makes the rabbits drool. Sejun says that it was not much, but they should share it. But the husband rabbit stands in front of his family and stops them from taking up Sejun's offer. They are saddened as he tells them something, and Sejun realizes what the rabbit was saying. He wanted Sejun to eat the sweet potato himself, as there was only one. Sejun is touched and thanks the husband rabbit for being the only one thinking about him. But even as Sejun accepts to eat the sweet potato alone, he is hiding the fact that he has already eaten it secretly before. Sejun peels the sweet potato and takes a bite. But it is too hot, and he burns his tongue and spits out whatever he just bit in the sweet potato in his hand. As Sejun screams about burning his tongue and scalding his palate, the rabbits are watching the sweet potato on the ground. The husband rabbit reaches down to grab a piece of the sweet potato, but his children swipe everything before him, and then they eat it as their father watches. But it is too hot for them, and they too spit it out. The baby rabbits start crying, and the husband is dejected that he got nothing and that the sweet potato got wasted. And this is another entry in Sejun's diary in the tower. He ate a fiery meal today, a little too hot for his liking. A few days later, Sejun is telling the baby rabbits that they are going to plant sweet potato sprouts from now on. The rabbits are confused, and Sejun says that it was the thing they were eating right now. Sejun scolds them and says that the baby rabbits are prohibited from eating the sweet potato sprouts for the time being. These words come as a devastating shock to the rabbits. The sweet potato sprouts have been the favorite snacks of the baby rabbits lately, and now they are trying to protest against Sejun's decision. All of them have different reactions to the order, and Sejun says that no matter how they complain, his decision is final. He thinks that there will be nothing left to plant if the babies keep on eating the sprouts. Sejun tries to convince the rabbits by saying that they will be having even better sweet potatoes for dinner. But if they helped him plant the sweet potato sprouts before that, he would give them a special snack. Sejun had decided to expand the farm area to cultivate sweet potatoes, and for that, he needed the baby rabbits to cooperate with him. And as soon as he tells them about the special snacks, they look at him with drooling mouths and gleaming eyes. Sejun tells them to start working, and the rabbits carry the sprouts to plant them. Their mother is harvesting the green onions, and Sejun asks her to leave one plant. It would then bloom a flower, and Sejun could get seeds from it. He had reached the conclusion that he needed to plant a seed for something to become an item. After all, he had harvested green onions many times, but there was not a single one that was special. In the newly expanded farm area, the baby rabbits are hard at work. One of them digs holes, and the other plants the sprouts in them. But in a corner, one of the babies is too greedy to part with his favorite snack. He cannot control his urge and takes a bite of the leaf. Reacting to that, his father smacks him for doing something like that. Sejun is also harvesting the tomatoes, and he gets a lot of messages from the tower system. He had a little bit of experience, but it was the final bit he needed to level up. And now that he had reached a designated level, he had ranked up from an F-rank farmer to an E-rank farmer. His job level has increased, and his job characteristics will be strengthened because of this. Sejun is also glad to know that he has reached level 8, and to celebrate that, he decides to make the snacks a bit earlier. He takes the cherry tomatoes and puts them on a skewer. At the same time, he gets a message from the tower manager. The manager was keeping an eye on Sejun and what he was going to cook today. The message disappears soon, and Sejun thinks that this was quite a harmless action. He begins roasting the cherry tomatoes and then calls the rabbits to start eating. They leave their work and come running to him, and Sejun presents them with special roasted cherry tomatoes on bone skewers. The information window for the roasted tomatoes also opens. The skewer used by Sejun was made from cleaned piranha bones, and because of the cooking, the tomatoes were softer and sweeter. The rabbits take a skewer each, and they look really excited to eat it. Sejun tells them that it is easy to carry around and eat in this form, but he also warns them that it was quite hot and they should blow before eating it. But the rabbits are already enjoying it. Then he says that since the sweet potato sprouts were already planted, they should dig some sweet potatoes for dinner. As Sejun digs the sweet potatoes, he finds 5 sweet potatoes in a plant. He reads the information about them, and they are called strength sweet potatoes. It had similar effects to the magical tomato, but with strength. Anyone who ate it would get an additional 0.1 strength for 10 minutes, and this effect could be stacked up to 10 times in an hour. The other effect was that it would break down 10 grams of fat and help with bowel movements. And this bonus would also apply to those who had not awakened yet. Sejun counts that he now has 15 sweet potatoes, which means he got 5 potatoes for each one he sowed. And that was pretty good for a first harvest. But then Sejun spots a fallen potato sprout. He plants it, thinking it would be a waste to leave even a single sprout. But then he gets messages from the system saying that the proficiency of skill sowing is increasing because of this action. Now Sejun realizes that even this qualifies as sowing. And he also realizes that he must plant all the sprouts himself to increase his skill level. Sejun asks the baby rabbits to stop in a hurry because now he wants to do it. Inside its office, the manager is trying to copy what Sejun just did. It has cherry tomatoes on a skewer, and they are roasted over a fire. The manager eats the tomatoes and immediately spits some of them out since they are burned and bitter. But then it ponders what was wrong with its tomatoes. The humans seem to eat them fondly. And then the sweet taste of the tomatoes spreads through its mouth, and the manager realizes how delicious they are now. It uses the magic crystal ball to see what Sejun is doing right now. And when the manager finds him eating the sweet potatoes with the rabbits, he gets angry. It screams, saying, "How could those punks start eating sweet potatoes without it?" It was the great black dragon, Alien Fritten. The manager sends a quest to Sejun immediately. He demands 1 roasted sweet potato. There are no rewards for this quest, and the punishment for refusing is death. Sejun is not in a mood to do the quest and tells the manager to postpone it. The manager is shocked and says that he wants the sweet potatoes right now. If Sejun did not give them it, there would be consequences. Sejun says that there was only 1 sweet potato left. He asks the manager what it could offer in reward. The manager considers it for a while and then revises the quest. A reward is added for another job-related skill. Sejun thinks that this reward is good enough and offers the sweet potato to the manager. He opens the reward and finds that it is a level 1 seed store. When this skill was activated, Sejun could buy a product at the seed shop every 30 days. Sejun is overjoyed. A seed store meant that he could purchase things inside a tower that were similar to what other awakened had. He says that this was an amazing reward, and the tower manager should have given it to him earlier. Sejun activates the skill, and the seed store is opened. Before that, it checks the transaction history of Sejun and finds that there were no previous transactions. But thinking about the transactions, Sejun arrives at an important question. How should he make purchases when he has no money? But then he gets another message that the store will offer entry-level services to the customer, Sejun. He was the first rookie-tier customer at the seed store, and because of that, he would get 1 tower coin that would be added to his account at the seed store. The tower coin appears in front of Sejun, and he is shocked. He says that the seed store was the kindest and the best. The tower coin was a currency used inside the tower, but in the outside world, the cost of each tower coin was 1 million won. Sejun opens the seed store to see what he can buy there. The message window tells him that for rookie tier, he could see 3 random types of seeds, and at his current level, Sejun could only purchase 1 of them. The 3 types of seeds for this time are shown, and Sejun sees that he can buy 1,000 seeds of either red pepper, cabbage, or carrots for 0.1 tower coin each. Sejun thinks that the name seed store was quite fitting as it only had seeds. But then he looks at the price and thinks about the outside world's value of the tower coin. He was getting 1,000 seeds for 100,000 won, and that was very expensive. Sejun thinks about what he should choose. Red pepper and cabbage could be a good combo to make kimchi, but he could not buy them together. Neither did he have the resources to process them here. And then the only thing left was carrots. As soon as he says carrots, the attention of all the rabbits turns to Sejun. Sejun asks them what is wrong, and the rabbits try to tell him that they want carrots. Sejun sees their excited expression and says carrots again, getting the same reaction as before. He is enjoying this a bit too much, and the husband rabbit kicks him in the face for wasting time. Sejun purchases the carrot seeds for 0.1 tower coin and gets 1 seed store mile. The mileage could be used to raise the level of his seed store, and he needed 100 points to get to the next level. Sejun gets the seeds in a fancy pouch and thinks that the pouch is more expensive than the seeds themselves. But then he sees a message from the manager saying that he is satisfied with Sejun's purchase. Sejun makes a face and asks why it's getting satisfied. This is another entry in his diary now. He got carrot seeds by trading at the seed store. Sejun is excited to plant carrots, and so are the rabbits, but someone else is watching them from a distance. A large and cute bee is watching Sejun, and the rabbits celebrate getting carrot seeds, and it seems like the bee also wants in.